So I know that I said I was gonna make a video about infertility, or my infertility journey. So this is just video number 1 out of I don't know how many. So give me a second, I'm just trying to share it. Okay. So all right, so I I got diagnosed with PCOS in 2016, maybe before then. And I never really knew exactly what it was. Really? You're supposed to be working. But you always make me smile. Why do you do that? But I never knew exactly what it was. I just read up on it. Like, doctors really couldn't tell me exactly what it was or what caused it. However, I did notice I took birth control back in 2013. I remember it was November of 2013. And before then, I've had regular periods. It was every 28 days, only stayed on 4 days. I mean, of course, the cramping and all of that other stuff. But then after I took the birth control is when I had a problem. I do believe that the birth control was the cause of it. So after that, I started to notice that I had longer periods in which they would stay on 9 days, sometimes months at a time, and it would not go off at all. And they put me on some type of medicine to try to make it go off. It would go off, but then like a week later, it'll come back on. So I went to 3 different doctors. They kept saying the same thing. Oh, you have PCOS. And I kept asking, what is the cause of it? They could not tell me. Still, until 2019, I went to see a doctor in Miramar, and he was like, he agreed that the birth control was the reason, and he did a hysteroscopy, if that's how you pronounce it. And he took like a sample or whatever, and he was like that basically I have polyps on my uterus and cysts on my ovaries. So that is the main cause of my infertility. Now, the symptoms that I do have, for one, hair growth. And this is one of my biggest problems, and I can honestly say one of my biggest insecurities, and it's so weird because I have not talked about this at all. I try not to, but since I'm being open, I might as well. So I do grow hair here and under my chin, and I grow it in other places that I should not be growing hair. And the hair on my head, it grows, but not exactly how I want it to grow. So, and nobody really talks about this. I've looked at so many articles and blogs and videos on YouTube and all of this other stuff about infertility, and nobody really talks about their symptoms. So I guess I'll just be one to be open with it. So the hair on my head grows all around here. That is fine. However, the hair here in the middle it does not grow. And I'm not saying that it's bald. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it doesn't grow as long as the hair around my head. I have tried castor oil. I have tried hot oil treatments. I've tried pills, everything that you can imagine to try to make my hair grow. It does not work. So, irregular periods. Wow. Okay, I don't even know where to start with that one, because honestly, I can't go back, and I have to go back to my app, and I realize that a lot of people don't have apps, and it's kind of weird to me because I've always been the type to track my period. So I'll just go back to January of last year. It came on every month. Now from January to March, it was fine. However, and I'll show you guys, I don't mind. You can ask questions. I am very open. I do not mind answering any of you guys' questions. So in April, as you can see, I don't know if you can really see, my period stayed on for quite some time. I did have heavy flow, as I did mark it, for 19 days. So it came on April 1st, went off April 19th, and it came back on April 29th and went off May 9th. So it came back on also May 26th and then went off June 8th. So as you can see, I have longer periods, or I had longer periods, and I really didn't know exactly what to do. After I moved to Orlando, I couldn't really go to my OB in Miramar. That was like a far drive. So I had to find one here. I was very skeptical because I'm like, I don't really know the doctors here. But I was on TikTok one day and I seen a OB, and I'm like, okay, she making videos, she making sense, because she was talking about infertility, and I was like, this is something that other doctors have not said, so I need to know where this lady is. And she was here in Orlando, so I actually went to go see her. I told her everything from my periods from when I was 18 up to now. And she was basically saying the same thing that the other doctor said about the PCOS, but however, she went into more depth. So July, it came on July 8th and went off the 22nd. So I did tell her that I needed just something, anything, just regulate my period, because it was not happening with me on its own. So she did talk me into getting the IUD. Got the IUD, and y'all didn't tell. Oh my gosh, my IUD experience. Let's go there. Okay, I will. My IUD experience. Wow. So I got there, everything was fine. You know, they already got to do the P test and like all the other stuff. So I did that. However, when it was time for them to put the IUD in, it hurt so bad. I mean, that is some pain I would never wish on anybody else. I was like, this is just too much. She was like, oh, you're gonna feel a slight cramp. That was not a slight cramp, ma'am. That was not a slight cramp, because it hurt. So after that, I didn't really have anybody else to like drive me home, so I drove myself home. Wrong idea. I ended up getting around the corner, maybe like 3 minutes from the office. Oh my gosh. I felt lightheaded. I was like, I'm hungry. I'm cramping really, really bad. I just want to go home and lay down. Finally got home. I laid down. The pain was even worse. I'm like, the cramping is just ridiculous. So, I ended up taking pills or whatever, like Advil or something for it, and the cramping stopped just a little bit, but it kept going. So the cramping lasts for maybe a week or so, and And then I remember I was going to Vegas. So I ended up going to Vegas like a couple days after I got the IUD. And yeah, it was a great trip. However, my cramping was horrible. The bleeding started again. And I was like, okay, this is just too much. I got the IUD, I'm still bleeding, but whatever. So come August, September, and part of October, I did not have a period at all because of the IUD. However, the IUD I was in so much pain, and I remember telling my fiance, like, I gotta get this thing out of me. Like, I can't. This has to come out. So I remember I went to work, and I was in like real bad pain. I was like, y'all gotta take this out. I don't care who do it. I don't care what y'all do. Just get it out. So one of the doctors there ended up taking it out, and I called my OB. I was like, hey, I took it out. That is it. So my period ended up coming on October 12th to the 18th. So as I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is only what, 7 days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And I'm like, I have not had this type of period in so long. So when it was only 7 days, I was like, okay, I'm kind of concerned. Part of November. Okay, so I can say this was such a confusing month for me because my period was late. So like I said, October it came on the 12th. In November, it didn't come on until the 28th. So I'm like, okay, I'm missing my period. What's going on? Is my period trying to regulate because I took the IUD out? Or is there something else? So, it was just difficulty with that. Now, from November 28th to December 7th is when my period was on. December was a very busy month, if you catch my drift. So when January came, and speaking, let me go back. So in December, I could say that we tried many times, and I ended up going on Amazon because I seen people buying these pills, and they were like, oh, it's really, really good for people that have PCOS and other infertility issues. So I ended up getting it. I was like, okay, let me try it. So these are the pills here, Overboost and Fertile Aid. I don't know if you can really see it. And I think I spent like $25, $30 on them. These are, I don't know if you guys are okay with taking pills. Me, I don't mind it. These are actually a capsule, but they are pretty big. With this, you have to take them 3 times a day, and you have to eat with them. Me, I am very forgetful when it comes to taking pills, so I would have to set an alarm, and yeah, that just wasn't working. I would turn the alarm off and still forget to take the pill. So, however, I see that it said that it makes you ovulate and stuff like that, and this is supposed to make you fertile. I've tried it, and I even did ovulation test kits for like a month and a half, and I'll show you guys that as well. I have only ovulated and had a peak ovulation day one day. That was it. So let me go to it so you guys can see. Okay, so this app is called Pre-Mom Off, for whoever wants to download it. So this is actually like all of my ovulation tests and stuff like that. As you can see on October 16th, and this was actually during my period that I had a peak. So I'm like, okay, maybe I ovulate during my period and not after, as I'm supposed to. So from December 9th to December 22nd, I was testing almost every day or every other day, and they all came out low. I never had a peak day, and I'm like, okay, is it because of the pills, or is it because I actually do not ovulate on my own? And I have been told previously by OBGYNs that I do not ovulate. So they would have to give me some type of medication or whatever the case may be to ovulate. So in January, I did the same thing. They all were low. I do not have any peak days at all for ovulation. What else? It was something that I was just about to say that I almost forgot. Oh, so my OB here in Orlando actually gave me Clomid, which is clomiphene, and it's supposed to help you like ovulate to get pregnant. What's the name of the app? It's wait, which one? The period app or the one with the ovulation? If it's the period app, I have my calendar. If it's the one for the ovulation, it's Prima. So she gave me Clomid. I ended up taking it as I was directed to. Follow the directions, I mean, to the T. Even tried, and this was back in, let me see, back in December. So December 2nd is when I started taking it. It was supposed to be from December 2nd to the end of my period, in which I did take it until the 7th when it went off. According to the app, I ovulated from the 13th to the 19th. So on those days, I tried to, you know, whatever, during the peak ovulation day, and that didn't go so well. At least I don't think that it did. Even after that, like I said, this month was extremely busy. So I ended up waiting, and I'm like, okay, I'm a test. End up testing everything. Well, actually, I got what do you call it? I don't even know what those tests are. It's a pregnancy test, but it's a blue dot test, and it's a circle, and then it's supposed to have a line. Whichever ones those are, those ones I got, and that came back as a faint positive. But I don't think those were correct. I end up taking more tests, and those came out negative, and my period ended up coming on January 1st to the 7th. Now in November, and I don't even know where my paper is, but it's okay. I think I have a picture of it, or is it here? It is. So in November, you know, things happen, and I actually have some of my paperwork here, in which nobody actually knew, and it's okay. I don't really talk about majority of my problems with people outside of my close friends or my mom. So I don't know. I probably try to cover most of my information. Okay, so you guys, as you can see, I don't know if you can even see it, you guys, I'm so sorry. So this day I actually miscarried, and it was hard because I felt like I let myself down in a way. And there's so many people, including friends, and I'm not talking about close friends, I'm talking about just friends that didn't even know that, because I didn't even tell nobody. So that day was hard. I ended up going to talk to a doctor at the hospital, because I started having really bad cramping and very, very heavy bleeding. And he confirmed it. They did like a whole ultrasound. They did the test. They did all the works and stuff like that. I ended up going home. It just felt kind of empty. And you know, when you try to actually conceive, it's so hard when you either get a negative or you miscarry or just something happens. It's so hard. And people really don't talk about that. And sometimes it makes you feel depressed because you feel like you can't do it, or you just feel like your body is just not doing what it's supposed to do. So let's get on with the symptoms. Weight is something that I struggle with so bad, and I have been struggling with this since I got diagnosed with PCOS. So my doctor in Miami already told me that when it comes to PCOS and it comes to weight, no matter how hard you try or how you diet or if you exercise or whatever the case may be, it's still going to be extremely hard for you to lose weight. And I have been the victim of that. So I end up doing like a 21-day challenge with, you know what, I'm gonna tag her in it too. I end up doing a 21-day challenge, and I lost 20 pounds, but then right after that I still kept eating healthy, gained the weight right back. And then it's like, what was the point in trying? Like, that's just how I felt. Like, what was the point in me doing that if I was going to gain the weight right back? And I'm still walking, I'm still dieting, I'm still doing all this other stuff. So I was like, forget this, I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat. And I have been doing that ever since. High testosterone levels, I keep getting that. No matter what time of day they do blood tests or when it is, those levels will not go down for me at all. Insulin resistance, I also have that. I am a pre-diabetic. So when it comes to eating healthy, I know that I'm supposed to, but it's still kind of hard because it's like, even if I do eat healthy, it's still the same thing. My levels were still the same, and I'm like, nothing is changing. So what's the point of me changing what I eat, or if I diet or exercise or whatever the case may be? So I actually talked to some of my friends, and I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about getting Lipo 360. And at first they were so against it, but they had no reason, they didn't know why I wanted to do it. So I actually said, and I explained, I'm like, listen, I keep gaining weight, I'm still gonna gain weight, and this is my only option. I would rather maintain my weight after the Lipo 360 than to try to manage my weight now. So right now I am at a solid 253, in which this has been weight that I gained from the age of 18 to now. So trying to lose this weight, I may lose the 20 pounds, but after that I'm still going to gain more. So I would rather just have them take the fat out, let me lose the weight that way and maintain that, versus trying to maintain this weight. Because if I decide to not get lipo and I keep gaining weight, before you know it, I might be at 300 pounds and I'm gonna feel really bad, and I don't want to do that. So therefore, Lipo 360 it is. Cysts. I don't know if anybody else has cysts, but I'm pretty sure if you have PCOS, you do. But outside of PCOS, I don't know if you do. But before I got diagnosed with PCOS, they told me I had cysts on my ovaries. Even when I was like in high school, I had them as well, and I would always feel a dull pain in my abdomen, and I would never know why, until actually I went to the hospital one day because I started bleeding in between periods. And that's also a symptom, you bleeding in between periods. And it becomes so hard because it's like, okay, is this implantation bleeding, or like, what is it? So with the cyst, it will hurt. It's like your ovaries are sore, and sometimes it's hard for you to walk. It's also hard to lay down because it's like you're trying to get comfortable but you cannot. And that's just that. Sometimes you have to take Advil or Tylenol or whatever the case may be, whatever you decide to take, but just know that that pain is still gonna be there. Fatigue, OMG. So everybody that knows me knows I love to sleep. I do, that's my hobby, but it's not by choice. I would rather be up doing things, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, I have not been as active as I was before, and I'm talking about in my group, I'm talking about in general, even when it comes to sewing clothes or making things, even making candles. I have been so tired because I have been fatigued, and it's like I sit home and I am like so tired. Like, I would take a nap and sleep for like 4 hours, sometimes longer than that. And even when I still wake up, I still feel a little tired. And it's all because of PCOS. I have tried, I don't really like coffee. I did try it one time. It had me pinging off the wall, and I didn't try it again because I'm like, I don't like that. I've tried, other pills to make me stay up, and even with that I still went to sleep, and I'm like, you know what, just forget it. I'm not doing that. Like, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. Acne, I don't know if you guys can see, I have bumps, and at night, in the morning, I clean my face. I use Clean and Clear. That seems to actually work for me, but it all depends. I usually wash my face first, wipe it down with alcohol, and I know many people may not do that. I do because it works for me, like I said. I clean my face with alcohol, clean it with the Clean and Clear, and then I go and put Noxzema on it, and the bumps go away. However, they come right back.
Incoming call.
Mm-mm.
Incoming call.
Okay, rude and disrespectful. So, I still clean my face, and the bumps come right back. I have changed my pillowcases. I have washed my hair because I know that's also a cause of acne and stuff like that. Drink water. That is something that I drink majority of the time anyway. And yeah, I still get bumps on my face. So it's like with PCOS, it's just a little harder to manage acne, fatigue, the weight, all of the above. Like I said, nobody likes to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it today. Mood changes and mood swings. I never knew, and I can like talk to my friends about this because it just takes me back in like 2016, maybe a little after that, 2017. Like, I would always argue with people and never knew that it was my fault because I would never see any wrong in what I was doing or what I said or how my attitude was, until somebody was like, you are bipolar. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So that pissed me off even more. And I'm like, it's something. There's something going on. I don't understand it. So as I was talking to my therapist in 2019, she made me reflect on my past. And I was like, this all started happening after I took birth control. Because before then I was fine. I was like, I won't say I was calm. I was never really like the quiet one. But I wasn't as loud or rude or whatever the case may be. So that all did start after I took birth control. I do not remember the birth control's name. However, I can find out. So I could probably go on my Walmart app and see which one it is. But the mood swings are horrible. Luckily, I have been able to control them now. But before, they were just horrible. I could not. It's like everything ticks me off. No, I was not. I was never rude. I was never rude. Somebody had to piss me off. But I was never rude. Now I just like, I don't tolerate stuff. I've never really tolerated anything. I really don't care. No. But now, like I said, my mood swings are so much better. Luckily, I do have a fiance that knows how to control them. My goodness. Because if it wasn't, I'm pretty sure if it was anybody else, they would have left me. And that's just being completely honest. So kudos to him. And trouble conceiving. So I have already discussed how hard it has been to conceive. In the past, I've miscarried. So the last one, like I said, was in November. Before then, it was 2018. Before then, it was 2016. Before then, it was 2014. So you can imagine how hard it has been. And I'm pretty sure it has been other people who have miscarried as well, or had stillborns because of infertility. People just, we don't like really talking about infertility because it's like some people don't understand it. So it just kind of like, why haven't you gotten pregnant yet? Or where's the baby? When are you gonna have children? And those questions are so annoying. And it's not because people are asking them, it's just because we can't control our body the way that we want to. So I have gone through, and this was before my whole deliverance. This was before I got saved and all this other stuff. I was always trying to figure out ways, like in my relationship, to actually get pregnant. So I would Google, like, what is the best position, or what is the best time to do it, or just anything, like, how am I supposed to sit afterwards? Yeah. I have gone through the whole 9 yards trying to figure that out. It's not easy, and sometimes you just kind of doubt yourself, and you feel as if, like, am I even meant to have kids? Like, is it for me? So for the ladies that have infertility, let me see, it has been a group that I've been in, and don't get me wrong, the group is awesome. I have shared certain things in there, and I love it because other women, and I mean like women of color, have shared their experiences too. From research and from like what I've read, it's actually over 56% of women have infertility issues, and those women are Black. Not to just say it so bluntly, but it's the truth. It's sad because I feel like we are so nurturing, and I mean women in general, we are very, very nurturing. But when it comes to trying to conceive, it's like, okay, it's hard. Like, you know that you will love your child. Don't get me wrong, I have god kids and I love them dearly, and I'm just like, I don't really get a chance to see them because they are in Miami. But you just look at them and you like, dang, like, what if I would have had kids of my own? Like, why can't I have kids of my own? And that is the number one question us as women with infertility issues ask ourselves. And it's just, I don't know what else to say about it, because I've been through this journey, and I'm going to continue like posting videos and posting my trial and error and posting everything that I can, just to show you guys, like, you are not alone when it comes to infertility. It's okay that you have it. It's not something that you caused on yourself. And you may feel like it is. I felt like that for some time when I took birth control. I'm like, I should have never taken that. It was my fault. And I can't keep blaming myself, because it's like, how would you know that the birth control was going to do that? If you knew, you would have never took it. So don't blame yourself for it. Just continue to push through. And don't give up. I actually have my very first IVF appointment coming up on the 17th of this month. So I'm really, really excited about it, because I'm like, I'm getting the chance to find a way to conceive. I know that hubby wants it. I want it too. I'm getting older. And I think it's time. I think it's time. So, and you know, when it comes to a marriage, you also want that too. And even before marriage, I was thinking about kids. How backwards is that? But whatever, don't judge me. You don't know me. But I have, and so the group, you guys, for all of you who want to add yourself in it, this is the group here. So it's Black Women TTC, which means trying to conceive. And it has been an awesome group. People have shared testimonies. Some things in here might make you cry. A lot of people have done IVF. And that's what actually made me book the appointment. Just seeing like all of their success stories. And I'm like, okay, I know that I can be one in a million who can have that success story. So like I said, I will continue to go on here and show my journey. It might be a little harder. And sometimes I might not want to record, but I still have to push myself to do so. I will show you guys pictures if you like. I know some pictures may be a little vulgar, but somebody gotta show it, right? So why not me? Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I do not mind answering any questions at all. I know that you might feel like, oh, these can be like little personal questions and maybe I don't want to ask it. Don't feel that way. Feel free to ask. I will still answer your questions no matter how hard they are. I have very tough skin when it comes to certain things, so those things won't hurt my feelings. I won't cry about it. So go ahead and ask me. I will also post the apps in the group. I will post the apps on my timeline as well, so you guys can get them. In the group that I just showed you guys, I will show you those too. It's also another group. I'm not really as active in there, but it's also a really good group as well. And somebody actually invited me to this group, and I love it because it's like people just like they show all of their testimonies and like what they're going through. So this is the other group here. As you can see, PCOS, endometriosis, and all. It has been a blessing to me, honestly, because I thought I was alone when it came to like stuff like this. Like I felt like I really couldn't talk to anybody about it because they couldn't understand. But I'm not alone. And you guys are not alone either. I am here. So you guys, I have to go. I have to go. Like I said, feel free to ask me anything. I will answer your questions. You can inbox me if you want to. So you guys be safe. I love you guys and continue to watch my journey.